start off in their money management. Oh my God. Oh, I'm live. Oh no, I said go live instead of record. Ew, no. Okay, hi. And I'm gonna tell you also why I'm talking about this stuff. Like, what on earth makes me qualified to say anything about finances or to talk to anybody about budgeting? Because I think that should be a big question. And here are my qualifications. I wear glasses. That's all you need to know. Just kidding. Okay. So my iCloud storage is full. Amazing. I'm going to be showing you all the programs that I use to do all of my budgeting. And when I talk about budgeting, I mean like almost how someone would talk about their diet. Not that they're dieting. I'm not budgeting to like pay for things, or I'm not like trying to trim down my finances, just keep track of my finances. So I am a closet baller, yes. So that's kind of going to be the first thing, is just getting people familiar with different programs that are accessible and easy to use, completely free, and awesome. I'm going to talk about difference between savings accounts. So like a lot of people don't realize that there are different types of savings accounts that might make them more or less money depending on what they're using. And I think that's a big one. I'm going to explain a little bit about retirement, and we can talk about like how much do I actually need to save every year or invest every year to be able to retire when I'm supposed to. Shaq Daddy, hi. I'm going to talk about how to stay up to date on like financial stuff, because I feel like it's really stressful when you don't know where to go to find out financial information. Talking about maybe, if anybody's interested in it, how to like decide what kind of credit cards are right for you if you don't have one. If you were here for my YouTube faux intro, I will not be telling you how to spend your money or where to buy credit cards. I'm not gonna like look at specific cards and say like this one's a good one or this one's a bad one. You should never take advice like what I'm giving right now and use it as like someone telling you what to do and trust that advice. You know what's best for your wallet, yourself, your life, etc. So if you want particularized advice that's like really specific to you, go to someone who's qualified, trained, and someone you pay for that. Oh, that guy, thank you so much for that subscription. Oh, yay! Blind emote shared, hell yeah! And yeah, so make sure you're talking to someone who has more qualifications than I do, and I'm going to talk about what those are. And then I'm going to talk about cash or credit, because when we go to like buy a car or buy my PC, I'm spending a lot of money, and does it make more sense to do it with cash or with a credit card? You love those emotes, yay! Kiwa, hi. Okay, so also I don't have my headphones on right now. I'm gonna put them on so that I don't miss anything. Oh, also Survivor, thank you so much for the follow. Okay. So, this is weird because there's no sound coming in right now. So, I'm talking really fast because I totally wasn't ready to be on stream. This is so funny. Why am I qualified? You got a third of an emote. Oh my god. Pseudo Twin, congrats on that. I'm qualified to talk about the basic things that I'm talking about today because I've been managing my own finances for quite a while. I didn't grow up in poverty, but I grew up very close to it. And so I watched my mom, who's really great with like accounting stuff, and my family members who are really good with accounting stuff, just kind of like grow into safety and security through like smart money management. I've read a fair number of books on this stuff. And I actually took a 4-week community college course for like $50, and immediately after basically made almost $1,000 in returns on like the things that I learned. So I'm really, really good with my money. And I hope that like, it's not because I have some like magic sixth sense about money. It's because I'm just really good with the tools that I have. Still in the whole super bad connection. No! May the fish of the future be with you. I love that, Kiwa. So yeah, if you're like, meh, I don't want to learn about this stuff, that's totally okay. I'm going to be playing a little bit of Cuphead later, but I think this is probably going to take about like 20 minutes maybe, just to kind of go over the like basic things. Shack Daddy, I'm hoping to teach you some of my ways. So yeah, the first thing is a free program called Google Sheets. Hiya! Thank you so much. Hold on, let me read this whole thing. It's not showing up fully. I want to read that message. It says, I had a real shitty day mentally, but I remember seeing your post about your mental health. Wait, I can't. I want to see this whole thing. Sorry, guys, I need to. How do I? I'll cut this out later, but I want to. There we go. Hi, Stephanie. I can't stay for the stream because Eastern Standard Time. That's okay. I had a real shit day mentally, but I remember seeing your posts about mental health past and getting to where you are now, and that gives me hope. You're very helpful, even if it's not always direct. Hiya, boy. I really hope that you keep on going and that you stay strong, and thank you so much for that donation. The Discord is always open if you need to vent. I promise I'll listen and respond. You won't be ignored, so feel free to pop in there. Okay. Also, I just saw your message, that guy, how time flies. I love it. Yes, time really does fly. Pseudo, I can't wait to check that out once I'm off. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up. Ta-da! Sheets. So this is a free program through Google. It's really kind of maybe a little bit too zoomed out for you guys to see right now, but I'm gonna literally walk you through how to make a budget. And if you're like, this is so basic, yes, it is very basic, because no, I'm not trying to do that. People need this sometimes, and so I want to make sure that all of the little info that I have stored up in my brain that I've been using to manage my finances goes to you. I'm sure you'll give me 2 hearts either way. I give out so many hearts in Discord. It's like a mandatory thing to give out hearts for me. I love giving out hearts. Okay, so just like by a show in chat, if you have your own budget and you like actually keep track of your finances, whether using like some program or just like by hand, just put a 1 if you have a budget that you like keep track of. Also, Shack Daddy, I will totally show you the way so you can get yourself a mug. One. Okay, perfect. Awesome, Avi. Proud of you. I gave you 5 like you said. I thought about drawing out 5 human hearts. It went with 5 2 hearts. Oh my god. Okay. Shack Daddy, you do have 1. Okay, awesome. So this will probably like not be news to you guys then, but and Ponchi, you have 1 too. Hell yeah. Okay, so y'all are killing the game. I am very proud of you. Basically, then you kind of know what happens here. I'm gonna do like 4 rows. It's not Excel because Excel costs money. This is Google Sheets, and you can just Google. Let's see. I'm Googling Google Sheets. It comes up with sign in, and you can create this little spreadsheet for free, and you can use it on your phone, on your tablet, on anything. So if you're like, I don't have access to a computer, that's okay. Not have one, but you'd put a 1 if you have a budget. So normally what you do is you have a year-long budget, and I do mine this way. So I start out with my big categories for spending. So I do my necessities first. Also, you can hear my clackety keys. So for me, I'd put rent, car, because I have to pay for gas, my mileage, all that stuff, insurance, health insurance. And then what's another kind of uncommon one? I think those are my biggies. So you want to start off with your necessities first. What's this? I saw it, but I can't see the... Oh, C1, hi, welcome on in. Thank you so much for that follow. Your friendly ninja is here. TTV based. Hi, welcome on in. So, super not flashy at this point, right? Then we get to the fun stuff. So, fun might mean like, well, not fun. What do I have it called in mine? It's, let me just pull up my sheets. I don't have it on this computer. I have it on my personal old ass laptop. 1 second. Oh, that chair is so freaking loud. Move. Move. Okay. Let's see. I can't wait to set up my new PC so that I can have this headset actually be wireless. It's gonna be beautiful. Okay, so I actually use numbers on my laptop. So this category is called adjustable spending. Smirk. Oh wait, what? No, I just went really far down. I was like, or to the side. I was like, did I just delete every single thing that I put in? Okay, perfect. So for me, this one, I color code everything to the 9s. So like, for some people, that'll be stressful. For me, not so much. That's an A. Adjustable spending. So for me, that looks like eating out, groceries. These are things where like with a lot of couponing, I could cut things down. I could change like how much I want to spend on fitness in a month. Traveling, I could decide, I have white on my shirt, to just like not travel. To not defer travel. Travel somewhere. I also have Twitch, so I include expenses for Twitch. So that means like subscribing, donating, cheering, all that stuff I factor into my budget. And then I have a miscellaneous category. I end with, I have a few more things, but we're not going to go through every single one of my things. This, that smart streamer, this, that big glasses streamer, having issues with travel. We all are, yeah. That's why it's discretionary, so total discretion. And then here's something that's really nice to know about for this program is you can add rows. So I forgot to put something in, totally okay, not stressful. Boom, done. Ew. Sorry, this is ugly. Oh, and if you want to share it, you can. So you can follow along with me in this sheet while we're doing it. You can only view it, so don't troll me, mofos. Jeebus Crisis, we are having a Good Friday night. We're doing a budget stream to figure out how do we budget things and, yeah, to learn some things. Educated isn't, yep. Okay. So those are all my expenses. But I forgot one of the most important ones for me. I have saving up here. Ew. Which you'd think might be discretionary, but to me, I think of it as something mandatory. And then investments. Okay. So this is all of our income, and I'm going to make it a frozen row. So keep in mind, I don't use this program very much. There we go. Actually, just kidding. So what I've just done is so that I can make my months along the top. So I've got Monthly average. Oh, I want this to be yearly av. Monthly av. So I can kind of plot out now where for say like the year 2020, I want to have, I won't because it's you, but holy shit, pseudo twin, you can't. That's why I made it view only, mofo. You can't troll me. I mean, you probably could, but like, yeah, please don't, Illy. So Dan, Feb, say I'm going along and it bothers me. I want to do shorthand, but it's so hard for me. March, April, May. Is there a month that anybody else just like forgets about? Because I forget about all these months all the time. Okay, so I've gone down. And these two columns, you actually, by freezing these columns, they're gonna travel along with me. So, actually I want these, I had 2, I want 3. In view, freeze, up to column A. Nope, not what I want. Yeah, damn it. Okay. Well, this is a bummer. This program doesn't have it, but if you have Excel or Pages or Numbers on Mac, you can freeze more rows. So there's some limitations with Sheets, but it's free. So like you just, yeah. My monthly chronic spending. Oh my God, I would never forget that. It's just like factored into insurance, okay? That's where I put that one. Also, hi Lars, welcome on in. How the heck have you been? May usually just slips my brain. I forget about April. That's my big one. Marcus, I'm doing awesome. How the heck are you doing? So as you see, the left side just keeps on going with us, which is really nice and very handy so that you can kind of figure out where everything is without having to like zoom far out. For me, it's a little bit easier because I actually have the first 3 rows highlighted, but we can make do with this. It's been all right. It's good to see you. It's great to see you. I'm so happy that things have been good. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to make clear when I was doing this video and doing the stream is that I'm not going to tell you like, stop spending money on eating out. No. If your goal is to save money or to like buy something next year, you allocate money how you want to allocate money and how makes the most sense for you. I stopped buying groceries for a little bit and instead found like really nice places, not nice like expensive, but nice as in like good food, hole in the wall places that I want to support and spend money at. And so like my eating out versus groceries has changed. And so like it makes so much more financial sense for me right now to just eat out constantly. So yeah, don't ever let anybody tell you how you should structure your eating, your spending, etc. Let's move this out so it's less ugly. Ew, program, thank you. Okay. So what we don't have in all the spending categories is our income. Your fat habits will stay fat, but I like fish, so I like fish. So fish too. Wait, you fish? That's so dope. Okay, so I have my job income, and then I put my Twitch income. And it's really important for content creators to keep track of this as income, because if you're making money streaming, the government knows that you're making money streaming. Why it's also really important to have a Twitch expense column, because I said that I keep track of my subs, bits, donos, everything that I give to others. But I also keep track of like what I spent on PC parts or games and all those things, because I can put those as business expenses when it comes time to do my taxes. And that will decrease my taxable income. So I try to make sure that I keep track of all that stuff. Shack Daddy, you enjoy your sleep. This will also be a more coherent and awesome YouTube video, so I'll be cutting out some of the nonsense, hopefully. And yeah, I appreciate you coming by. I hope you have a great night's sleep. Taxes, you never want the IRS on you. I know, I don't, so please don't tell them I said anything about anything. Johnny Cola, thank you so much for that follow. Okay, so I have job, Twitch, Miscellaneous income. Okay, and I always try to include a miscellaneous category for my expenses and my my income, because like random things will come up. Like, where am I gonna put that I got money back for returning clothes? Like, that's not really income. It's not really, I don't know. So I just have miscellaneous spots for it, and it's really helpful because sometimes when you're doing budgets, you can get bogged down in trying to figure out like, where does this go? Where does that go? It's okay. It's okay if you just have a miscellaneous section. And then I have my total income. And actually above, I'm going to have my total expenses. And you'll see why this is sort of important to have for reasons other than just seeing what's happening. Total expense. Okay. So at the bottom, sort of set apart from income and expense, I have amount in savings. This is just like for my peace of mind. I feel like when we don't keep track carefully of what's in our checking or our savings, it can feel really overwhelming because like we're supposed to have all these saving goals and like things we have like going on, and we're supposed to know our money and blah, 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 blah. If I just know and keep track of how well I'm doing savings wise, I'm happy. Twitch reports royalty. Do you track your subs? I don't track my subs. I just track how much I make in income. Is there a reason to track your subs instead of your general Twitch income, Needs of Dudes? Very curious to hear about this. And then I have at the bottom charity, which is just like anytime I can give more, I do give more. And I just keep track of that because it's also important to know what to put on my taxes and stuff. If you had to itemize by subscription tier, I don't think I think you could, and I think if you use a program like Streamlabs, it's easy to do that because it shows you what people subscribed at. But no, I do not currently itemize in that way because I think it's all gonna mesh together in the end. But I haven't done my taxes as a streamer, so like I said, this is not a perfect video. There's so much more to learn about these kinds of things by going to someone who knows your specific information, your specific financial place and where you need to be. Okay, so here's how I make sure that I'm sort of spending what I can in smart ways. Let me see. You're responding to Needs of Dudes. Okay, perfect. Thank you for explaining Jeepers Crisis. First, when I hit the end of the month, so like, or the 30th or the 31st, I go through and I use a program called Mint because I want to fill all this stuff in. So mint.com is a free to use program where you can kind of link all of your credit cards, your student loans, your everything in one place. You can sign up for free. It doesn't like try to sell you anything really. It has some advertisements, but they're not obtrusive. When you sign up, you'll link everything together, and then they have a program that'll organize all of your budgeting things for you. And some people really like that. That's all they need. This is the only program they need, and it's like very safe, very secure, very recommended by everyone everywhere. So like, if you're of the persuasion where you're like, I don't want anyone knowing my financial information that doesn't have to, maybe this program is not for you. I'll tell you how to do this in a way like I used to do it, which was all entirely by hand all the time. That's like the third gong sound. I don't know what the gong sound is. Maybe it's my chair. It pops. But so if you're not using Mint and you want to use my like sheet method, which I think is superior because it gives you more of a handle and an idea of your own finances outside of just like plugging and chugging to figure out whether you're meeting goals. It kind of makes me feel more involved. Oh, I hit the table or something? It makes it ring, huh? Maybe it's that. I'm sorry, I'll try not to. But yeah, I think when you get anxiety about your finances like I do, it's so much easier to avoid that when you know where you're at. Because even if you're in like a great spot, you might have a lot of anxiety about finances just because they're so important. And so I like to do it myself. After you sign up though, it gives you this big long sheet that shows like all of your expenses, and way down at the bottom in low fine print it says export all. And so what I do is I export all, and it becomes like a sheet that I can access using whatever numbers program I have online. And then I trim it to be just my month's expenses. So I'm looking at all of November and nothing more. That wasn't my elbow. That was just, I'm dinging it. Like I literally like boop on the mic arm, but I will be very careful and avoid it. But also like the mic is total crap. It's falling apart. You can probably hear kind of like a zzz noise too. I'm fighting with them about the repairs because they're so bad. Blue Yeti's so bad. But okay, I'm gonna edit this out too. So after I get it down to the month, I start categorizing my expenses. And the way you can do this if you don't want to send your information to Mint is to just like on your phone print, or on your computer print out direct from your bank, like, oh, I have this bank app on my phone. I can look at my statement and I'll just either write it in a, ooh, I'm sorry, I hit it again. Write it in a table on paper that looks like this, or I'll just type it in as I go. Reconcile, what is reconcile? But yeah, so if I've done my job with Mint, I've gone through and I've added up all of the expenses that I have. How do you add things up though in a program like this? So you don't need a calculator for the most part. If you're trying to do things, you're an accountant. Oh, that makes so much sense. Hell yeah. Okay, well, if I say anything wrong, you jump in and you correct me, because I know a lot of things, but there is always more to learn. So say I've spent $100, oops, $100 on rent, $100, we're just simple numbers. I can't do math. Like, I'm not a math person. And that might make you think like, well, then why is she qualified to talk about this? Because you don't really need to do math to be able to use this program. So we'll say $50 here. I leave saving till the end. I don't save until December 1st, really. Why are you here? Rude, rude. You can totally see this in VR if you pay for it. There's an extra subscription fee. No, just kidding. So we'll say $10, and I'll talk about how you would invest if you want to. So to do this, insert, let's see, function. So we're going back to like, I don't know what grade when we learned about functions in math. And the only thing you need for my method is to know how to do the sum. That guy, hey, not all that much is up. We're still going strong. Okay, let me see. So again, my program's slightly different. Let's see. Sum, comma, yep, comma, yep. Okay. My total mandatory spending I cannot wish away, spending I cannot get rid of, is $260. Where am I living? I don't know. My cardboard box is very inexpensive according to this model. Actually, $100 for cardboard box would be very expensive, but you understand these numbers are fake. I do not pay $100 a month in rent. Okay, so then we'll go through and just add, we'll do all evens again. And we'll talk about how you, oh my God, I'm giving out so many subs. You can tell everybody that I spent $100 on subs this month. Just kidding, please don't. We're gonna do that exact same thing. Insert, function, sum. I wonder if I can do it like this. Yes, okay. So that's a cheat method, is when you hold sort of like the top of the cell and press shift, it'll highlight all the cells in between. This game is completely free to play. Absolutely free to play. Yeah, you can get in on this. It's Arrange. Nudes of Dudes, you're killing it. Yes, I love this. Premium is having rich parents. It is. Not all of us. So blessed, though. I don't know why it just went that far out, but it did. Who cares? Okay. So now I'm going to add up insert function sum, and I'm just gonna do these two. So comma, stop it, shut up. Thank you. I can't believe I just told Google Sheets to shut up, but I did. Okay. So now I've got my total expenses. Let's make this something pretty. And I try not to use red on my sheets because red is incredibly stressful, and even if you spend a little bit outside your guidelines, try not to like be mean to yourself. Even if you feel like this number's too high, it's okay. This is just a guide. It's a budget. It's not it's not beratement. It's not to be mean to yourself. So let's say, to keep things affordable for me, I'll do 1,000 and we'll do 100. So an exact payout from Twitch right there. And I received $20 in getting a shirt back, or like sending a shirt back. Insert function. And now we're gonna grab our range per Nudes of Dudes. This is not homework, Marcus, and there will be a test after this though. Korea, wait, is it really? Wow. Pokaru, hola, ¿cómo está? Okay, so amount and savings. So let's figure out, oh, I forgot my very important row, which is remainder. So this, as I'm doing all these sheets, tells me where am I? Like, am I doing good? Am I not doing good? Am I spending too much? Because right now it looks like I'm spending a little bit more than I'm making. Ew, that's ugly. It's okay. I'm gonna turn caps lock off. So insert function sum. Again, even though I'm gonna be doing a negative, what I wanna see is this amount minus this amount. So I'm not doing bad. Duh, Stephanie, I told you I can't do math, but we can do this. Pokaru necesita hablar en inglés porque no puedo hablar en español como usted puede y el grupo no puede entender. Okay, I am in the black. Yes, Jeeves Crisis. So we're killing it, but now I can look back at this really important component, the saving component, and I do not ever want to have remainder sitting and checking. Why is that? Well, what I want is for my checking to be filled with like just enough to pay all my bills and nothing more. And I'll explain why in a second. So let's round ourselves out to, why did this not work? Because did I forget to, let's check on this. Yep, I forgot to include this one because I was still figuring out how to use this program. So now let's look at our 0. Perfect. This is exactly what I want to see when I'm doing my budget. Also, hi Moo, welcome on in. I love my money depreciating. No, you don't. Don't even joke like that. What Avi's talking about, okay, I can try to speak more slowly, but I do need to kind of move through this fairly quickly. So it's maybe not exactly the best stream for you, because I have a lot to talk about and I don't have the energy to be up forever, and we're playing Mug or Cuphead later. So, oh, also Bokaru, this will be on YouTube, and so if you need it at a slower speed, the video will be on YouTube for you to pick up too. finance is complicated? Can be. Yes, it can be. But this basic part here has been fairly simple. I'm going to finish this up and then we'll talk about sort of like how money works a little bit. You know what's funny, Pseudo, is I totally didn't nap. I laid down and then I started watching anime, and normally I can fall asleep while watching something, but I just had cold brew and I timed my coffee nap incorrectly. Okay, legendary mug is legendary. Yes, thank you. So lots of people start off with a budget and they don't quite know what to do with those first two rows. Like, how do you figure out what your monthly and yearly average is supposed to be? Like, what do you spend on certain things? And that's something where, like, I would recommend not setting your averages or your goals. These two are your goals for your year, where you're like, I'm happy if I end up with spending like $90 on groceries every month. You weave sushi and anime? Bruh, don't make fun of me. Don't pick on me. It's my stream. I will ban you. But yeah, so I recommend like taking a look at what you spend money on before trying to set yourself super rigorous boundaries and budgets, because that's when it gets like really stressful. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about with sheets, is basically just like kind of how to set this up so that it works for you. These are my categories. You should definitely have different categories. Like, these should not, I mean, maybe they'll be your same ones, but play around with it and yo entender. Okay, perfecto. And take some time to figure out what works for you. There's two other apps I want to talk to you all about really quick. One of them, you don't have to use my code, or I don't even think I can give it to you because I think it has my actual name on it. But one of them is called Robinhood. And that's an investing app, and that one's really cool. I like it because it has no fees to use. And so I made, I made $800 investing on Robinhood, and it's so simple. So like the way it works, I'm not going to give you my code, so don't be like, she's trying to sell me something. I'm not. You're good. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Let me see. So it's got like, ew, my phone screen's really gross. Down here, oh my God, wait, let me make sure no text come in. That would be juicy. It's got my watch list. So, perfect. The green screen has whited all of this out because it's all in green dark mode. Because someone, Shanti, made fun of me for using light mode. But basically, I can check the price of stocks every day, and I can set it to easily sell or buy based on how low or how high the stocks get. So I've been able to not automate my risks, but kind of, a little bit automate my risks. It's covered in lotion, dirty fingers. Pseudo Twin, if you have a hard time investing, and if investing hasn't proven to be like something that you're super strong at yet, what I did to get better at was like, I took a class at a community college basically about stocks, bonds, and investing, and other people took it with me and were really maybe annoyed by me because I stopped the professor all the time and I was like, explain this again. But I've got 20 pages of notes that I pull from constantly, and it's how I was able to only make money investing so far. So, Avi, that is way above and beyond. I love that advice for me, but I don't know if anyone else will be able to, like, knows enough about stuff yet in this type of stream. But what basically Avi said is using a bigger stock brokerage to go through. That's something I'm working towards, but it does take knowledge, time, and commitment to pick where you want to put your money. And so I haven't had the time to figure out where I want to do it yet. So I'm not going to. That's one of my rules, is like, don't rush into things, but make sure you understand things before you do it. I stopped the professor, not stalked. Investing is good if you have the money. Think of your money as assets, not immediate expenses. Yes, that is like a very good way to think about it. But for some people, investment, like to me, 4 years ago, someone told me that they owned a stock and they were my age, and I was like absolutely shocked. I was like, you can just like, how do you just like have it? Like what? And so Robinhood for me has been an amazing tool because there are $10 stocks. Like in my little sheet right here, I have investments and it's at $10 and you can invest $10 and play around in it. CDs, that's certificate of deposits, and those are things that's what that guy just mentioned in chat. Those are times when you trust the bank with your money for a certain amount of time and they give you a certain interest rate on it. So I'm kind of going to talk about one more app and then we'll get into a little bit more of that like detailed stuff. The last app is also all green. Why are they green? They're trying to make me spend money. It's Credit Karma. Credit Karma is really, really neat because, again, it's something that's super trusted. Yes, I think like it's always a risk when you go and put your information on apps and stuff, but it's pretty much guaranteed to already have your information. Mint also does a credit checking thing, which is what Credit Karma is good for. But for me, I know I have to buy a car next year, so I've been monitoring my credit score pretty closely to make sure that it doesn't fluctuate at all, and I can catch it if somebody's like doing fraudulent things on my cards and all this stuff. So having a credit monitoring app is really good. So I'm going to talk about something that's like a really easy way to make a little bit of extra cash that is super great for risk-averse people, because I think like you love this Jeebus Crisis. Oh my god, okay, perfect. Also, let me read Nudes of Dudes comment, which is kind of what I was responding to, but I didn't fully read it out loud. If you're still learning about stocks, you can toss your savings into a money market for a bit since interest is higher than a savings account. So I think one of the hard things about conversations like this is that sentence just had like maybe 3 words that people might not understand. So a money market is different than a traditional savings account, but it's like, it's not actually all that complex. And so if you're like, that sounded kind of cool, I recommend just like while you're watching this VOD or the stream, quickly opening a window and being like, what's the money market? And explore that topic for a little bit. Okay, so we were talking about interest. I feel like interest is a hard thing to talk about in the abstract. Interest in something that doesn't totally make sense when you're just like, so why do things just make money? Like, how do I just get money from having money? Yoto Legs, hi, welcome on in. So the reason why most things have interest of a certain type is risk. And what you can do with money when you have it. So like, say for instance, you open a credit card. You're gonna have to pay interest on anything you don't pay off at the end of the month. And the bank set the interest rates at whatever rate they think is necessary to protect themselves from the risk of basically extending you money. Ooh, how to get credit when you don't have credit. That one's a toughie. That one requires like a deeper conversation between an individual and someone who is prepared to review all of their financial decisions. 25 to 29% APR these days. Sometimes, yes, it can be that high, definitely. Secured credit cards are excellent. Basically, what a secured credit card is, for those of you who may not know, and who may have no credit or low credit in their scores, low credit scores, basically what you do is you let a bank hold on to a certain amount of money and then extend you credit based on that kind of insurance that they have, that you won't just skip town and not pay your bills. So when you give the bank your money, like with a savings account or a checking account, they do stuff with your money. They like actually go and spend your money on like loans to people. That's how banks are able to loan out money. That and like a few other ways. But that's one of the big ways is when you hear like, oh, I just applied to a loan from a bank. They just got your money. So the bank, to entice you into giving it your money, offers you interest back. One of the most important things about banks is that nowadays your savings or your secured money with the bank is actually insured by the FDIC. I think that's the acronym, but basically at banks that are insured, you can have accounts of up to $250,000 that's insured. And that's like money that if they lose it, if something happens, like you get that money back no matter what, basically. And so I never had a credit card until recently, and I used a credit card that I applied through my bank, used it for small purchases, and within a couple months, I got a great credit score. It seems super hard, but it's not. So, yes, credit cards can be really powerful tools. What is another powerful tool is savings and checking accounts. But they're very different, and people misunderstand their important difference. And that big difference is the interest that you earn in those accounts. So checking accounts are places where banks know you're going to be moving money in and out of very quickly. They don't have limited withdrawals. The bank's offering you a very small percentage back on the money that you leave with them because they're not able to do as much with it. What happens with a savings account is that the bank knows you have to leave a little bit more money in there, so they'll give you more money back for that assistance to them. Something that's really cool is something called a high interest yield savings account. And I'll say that a little bit slower. A high interest yield savings account. So, but it's puny, right? Jeebus Crisis. In a traditional savings account, your interest is still so small. So let's look at, say, like most of my friends, you got a Chase College. Oh my God, I don't type on a desk, so this is like on my lap. I'm like trying to, savings account. So they offer you those, wait, let's see. Interest rate, perfect. Okay, that's not effing good. 0.01%. Okay, 0.01%. Now, let's look at high interest yield savings account. And I'm not going to sell you on any particular account. Let's see. Okay. Can anyone in the class tell me the difference between 0.04% and 1.95%? Savings advice from someone without a desk? Bruh. 4% from any kind of savings account, you would have to put money into, most likely. And even then, like, I don't know where that exists, but some of these places have minimum balances for that percentage. Boo. I don't want to pay money for that. I don't want to have to keep money in that savings account. So let's see. Average. 1.7% with 0 minimum balance. Do you see how that's a little bit different? Okay, you can touch it. You can. How do I know that you can touch it, that you can withdraw your money, that you can put money in? Because I have a high interest yield savings account and I have withdrawn money. The difference between a traditional savings account and a high interest yield savings account, you would think might be like the insurance, right? You'd be like, well, I probably like could lose it because they're giving me so much money. Oh, short-term CD is where you at. Okay, perfect. Yes. Jeebus Crisis, you could do a CD for 4%. That's, yes, a solid return. But you can't touch it, right? With a high interest yield savings account, you're not making 4%, but it's just like a regular savings account. So if you're like, that sounds really interesting, please go look it up. You can't trust what I'm saying because I'm a random person on the internet. Let's see what happened. Aw, ZGT, thank you so much for that hosty. Yeah, no, that would be a truly magical savings account. Instead, what we're talking about are CDs again. And those are awesome for people who have money that they can kind of put away for a little bit. But yeah, so that's sort of the basics of why do you want a checking account versus a savings account versus a high yield savings account. I think this is like something that everyone should know about. Oh, and I'll explain kind of the reason why they can offer those much higher rates is because they don't have traditional brick and mortar savings accounts. Like one of the big ones right now is American Express. American Express isn't a traditional bank. So like you can't go in on a Saturday and like do this in-person financial transaction. You have to do it all online. So it's different, right? Understand the differences if you're gonna go and get a high interest yield savings account, but high interest yield, that means you get more money for your money. Wait, Mel, wait, guys, wow, that's amazing. I have a metric ton of data in front of me all the time. I'm liable to give shitty random advice after hours. You're good. Okay, so I'm gonna really quick talk about like basically how much you need to retire, because I think it's sort of like a big far off misunderstood thing for most people, because like people say, oh, you need $1 million for retirement, and you're like, okay, but that's weird because like then I'll run out of money, right? Like if I right, like that doesn't make any sense. Well, Durgoix, hi. Sorry, that like just totally threw off my train of thought. Hi, welcome on in. So the way it works is what we were talking about. It works on interest. It works on the money making money. And what we were talking about is 1.7%, 4%. But now we have to talk about 10%. 10% is the average through a lifetime rate of return from the stock market. So when people talk about retirement or they talk about, you know, like making money on stocks, what they're aiming for is 10% or better per year. Yes. But it's per year over a lifetime, because if you were looking at the stock market in the Great Depression, bro, they were not earning 10% a year. But then you look at the years where they were in a period of high recovery, and oh my God, they were making so much more than 10% a year. So a lot of people will look at a recession and say like, I lost everything because I had all my money in these stocks. That's really scary and really stressful. And they pull their money out of the stock market and then they never get back in. What you have to do is go on per year, per lifetime. And you have to have money tucked away in insured places like a high interest yield savings account, so that in those bad times you're good. Would have it to burn the banks or have the bailout to avoid the Great Depression times two? Okay, I'm not going to answer that question. Here's my pay grade. Here's where that question was at. So, no. Darkoix, I'm happy you're liking the conversation. And if anyone's at any time is like, I gotta bounce or anything like that, no worries. This is going to be up on YouTube soon, hopefully cutting out some of the parts where I totally messed up and started my stream when I thought I was recording. Okay. It was an honest question. I apologize. Oh no, you're good. I didn't think it was disingenuous or anything like that. I have no idea, and it's outside the scope of what I'm qualified to talk about. Okay. What else did I want to... We were talking about interest rates, retirement. So let's say you're thinking about retirement. Retirement calculator, I think that's it. There's an easy sheet. I was there for that great time. Yeah. Phantom, hi, welcome on in. Thank you so much. Just haven't pulled the trigger. Well, stop. Pull the trigger, friend. Pull the effing trigger. That's the only time I will say that to anyone. Pull the fucking trigger, Dorkowicz. Let me see. So, here. Ew, that's not very cute, right? Like that. Ew, why don't you have this cuter? Oh, gross. Okay. Ew, stop. Pop-ups, gross. Okay, I don't have ad block. No one judge me. It does sound so bad out of context. Okay, so basically what this chart shows you is that you can pretty easily calculate. It's ugly. Don't try to read it. Just ignore it. Listen to my voice. Look me in the eye. What this can show you is that it's always easier to start saving for retirement when you're younger, just by putting a little bit away every year. And by a little bit, I actually mean quite a bit. But once you start investing and making more money, it's a lot easier to invest more and more with someone who's qualified, like a broker, or through your work if they have a retirement fund. I only don't have ad block on this computer because it's not my normal one, but I totally have ad block on my laptop. Okay, so yeah, it's important to start thinking about it now because money builds money. And so if you get to be 45 and you haven't been building, it's so much harder to get in. And yeah, what just happened? Uber, hi, welcome on in. Thank you for the follow. The earlier you start throwing at least 4% of your pay into savings, the better you are. Strategize around that. That is definitely a great goal, except I'm really cautious about giving hard numbers, especially when I don't know the person's financial situation, because 4% to a lot of people is not at all achievable. Why? Because income is very low currently for a lot of people, way under what they can actually live on. And so once I start giving hard numbers like that, it gets really stressful because it's just impossible for some people. So what you can save, what you can invest, you want to, like Dorkowicz, like me, where I'm like, oh, I know about CDs, I know about these other options, I know about Vanguard mutual funds, I know about all this stuff, but I just don't quite have the time. We all need to be way better about making the time for our finances. And so for me, that includes like working, which is kind of what I'm doing now, and making sure that I'm constantly like, you know, creating avenues to succeed, because we live in a capitalist society and this is where we're at. So let's all fucking rock it. God damn it, pseudo twin. Oh, you love money stuff. Okay, well, this is an unusual stream for me. I'm gonna try to edit this out of the video, Stephanie. I'm trying to talk about a few different things that I have some experience with to pass on my little bit of knowledge, so that, you know, people who I'm friends with, people who I care about, who are afraid of what's happening with their money, even when they shouldn't be. They're afraid. I don't want them to feel that fear. I want them to feel like I want you to feel like you have control over your funds, you know where it's going, and you know that there are many different ways to save and to be secure. I can't troll your spreadsheet. I'll troll you here, jerk face. There are so many people who aren't well informed, and I was one of those people. Legit, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I was panicking. Like, I was sobbing because I was telling my roommate with my financial aid money, I was like, I'm not going to be able to last the summer. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to pay for our rent. And she was like really freaking out with me. And she was like, Stephanie, like, let me see your finances. Let me see like all your returns and stuff. Like, we'll go through this together and figure out whether you're okay. I was fucking fine. I was fine. But like, because I had so much anxiety around money, I wasn't like actively in control and feeling in control. And so like, even though this has all been pretty like basic stuff, it's also not basic. I ate cans of beans for a year. It was awful. Yeah, no, I've been there. Beans on toast, man. Beans on toast. Oh yeah, okay, Uber, you bring up a good point. An emergency fund. My zipper is stuck. Thanks for that follow. Okay, so an emergency fund. What does that actually mean? Because I used to think like, I want all my money in savings, because like, what if like, just, you know, I don't know, like everything's supposed to be in savings. What you really want is generally considered about 3 months, I think, like, 12 weeks of, if you lost your job and had no money coming in, could you survive? That's where you really want your sweet spot of savings to be, unless you are saving like I was to put part of your payments down on like a car, because I know I have to buy a car next year. But generally, everything that's not required for something like that should be getting invested or somehow helping you make the most out of your money. It shouldn't just be sitting around collecting dust. It should be helping you in some way. Replace beans with ramens. That was me in college. Yep. Depends on your job field. The amount you save definitely depends on your job field, and what you need to survive totally changes. 3 months is the general rule to be safe, and it depends really on like what you're trying to do. Like if you need things to be liquid versus like actually assets invested. People coming out of that mode have a coming to Jesus that I feel is universal when they finally get successful, a humbleness to know you did good, and even further to know that you can take care of each other. May I ask what started you on this topic? I kind of have this feeling where it's so important for us all to understand this stuff, and I didn't for so long, that if my videos help even like one person understand their own financial well-being, even just like a little bit better, that's fucking great. And before I was streaming, I did this all like one-on-one. So I like would legit sit down with like my friends and like sometimes even basically strangers and just like talk them through this stuff. And I'm not a professor, I'm not a teacher, I'm not anybody important. But this is all so useful, I think. And yeah, I'm an introverted, antisocial weeb, so I don't need much. When in a small apartment place, at least my expenses would be decent. You know, you can totally allocate your money to as many body pillows as you want. I'm just kidding. You didn't say that. But I'm just, when you said you have no expenses, I'm like, oh, an introverted weeb could totally have expenses. I've talked my family through their finances. This is amazing. Yay! If I can help just one person, I'll make all this worthwhile. Yeah! Somebody did say body pillows. You're like the opposite of Phantom. I feel like it's harder when you are the type of person who, and I see this a lot on Twitch, is like very outgoing, very gregarious, very much like wants to be there supporting other people. And doing that financially a lot of the time. I definitely try to keep track of who I'm subscribed to, who I'm giving bits to, who I've done like random donations to, because like all that stuff does add up. And if you're using our handy dandy spreadsheet and you're thinking in the back of your mind about how much you've been spending on Twitch or on any other platform or on food, it at least just helps you know like, ooh, maybe I'll give them a host instead of $10. And yeah, let's see. I mean, expenses with having a larger home living space, and since I'm antisocial, I don't spend much on going out, etc. You can also factor in charity expenses. So I've got anything that I might need, and that's totally dependent on the type of person, on this sheet, and it should be adjusted for your needs. I spend too much on food and Twitch. Yeah, it can be big. It can get to be an overwhelming amount, especially if you're not checking to make sure that you're not on a monthly subscription basis and not realizing that like Twitch automatically, oh my god, motherfucker, thank you so much, Storkowix, but oh my god, you little hussy, thank you so much. So I'll put that into a spreadsheet, you beautiful devil. Yes. I know, oh my god, I should say thank you, yes. I just get so nervous for people sometimes, I don't know, and especially in moments like these, I'm like, I just wanted to give stuff right now, give knowledge. I can totally start your spreadsheet. Also, I'm so sorry for being so confrontational. My two responses when I'm like, when I see something really nice happening, are either just like gush or punch. So yeah. Okay, so my final point I think about this stuff is going to be cash or credit. You usually respond in the same manner. Okay, perfect. Perfect, sorry. Ooh, that is a lovely response from Jeebus Crisis offering DM info. You can totally use the Discord too to ask questions. There are lots of people who would love to give and receive information. So yes, she went from professional to super urban. Hallie girl. All right, you know what? Okay, so cash or credit. I was being very sort of silly, not necessarily silly, but like a little bit silly about buying my first car, because I've been saving up a lot of money so that I can buy that car, and I have not been using that money for any other purchase other than saving. Why that's kind of silly is because I really didn't want to buy my car on credit. But honestly, now that we've talked about interest and stuff, don't you think it might be really good if I can get a very low interest rate on my car financing for me to keep that cash and use that cash to make more money, just basically making more than I'm paying in interest? Maybe she's just really tiny instead of the mug being really big. That's it. Yes. Big coagulated gravy hot dog. Hi. So that's just like the final big thought is like sometimes debt is not a bad thing. Sometimes it can be a really, really good thing. That was my thought process when I refinanced my student loans. Yeah, it's like, should I keep this debt outstanding while I use my money to make me more money? Yeah, you should, depending on your financial situation, of course. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the one book I found really helpful for learning financial things, and that was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a great book for people who are just starting out learning finances because it kind of uses like little anecdotes and things to explain why conventional wisdom like save might be wrong when we're talking about interest rates and what are good assets. So yeah, popular when I worked at a bookstore. It's still popular now. So yeah, that's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it's from the point of view of someone who grew up with a parent who was not wealthy. And sometimes it gets a little bit like questionable. I don't love this when he was like, make sure you pay the least amount in taxes possible. And I was like, okay, this goes against like my values, because I am definitely a Democrat. Sorry to anyone who's like, no, fuck you. But I'm not into that theory. So aside from those things, the actual lessons that it teaches are very applicable to anybody, regardless of mentality. Yeah. I thought she was Green Party. Well, Democrats is a label, I think, to say like, yeah, I'm not going to get hugely deep into my political preferences and talk about who I'm voting for and all that stuff, just to say that my political ideology does not involve avoiding taxes at all costs. Burn the liberal. If that first was the rude finger, I would have been on the floor. Oh my God. Well, okay, we're not getting into a political debate. Illy, if anyone has any questions, right now is a good time to ask them before I start getting into my Cuphead playthrough, because I think that's all I wanted to talk about. There's so much more to learn about. There's so much more to talk about. We've talked about some things where like you might look back and say, that word was weird, I didn't understand it. Just do some Googling. There are so many free resources online. Really, this has been about getting people familiar with the idea that they have control over their finances and don't need to be afraid, even if those finances are, $1,000 in income a month. You have control over that $1,000. And yeah. Phantom, I was talking for like an hour and 20 minutes. So this is going to be on YouTube. So if you missed parts of it and you want to see like what's the spreadsheet about, I went through and built the spreadsheet with people, and we talked about how to use this program and how to make the most out of how you do your finances. Just hit my dumbass. You put the Cuphead, yup. No, I'm Mug Girl. Yeah. Kerchak, you missed a few different things, but all of those things are going to be on YouTube soon. Tube. I'm glad the chat gets cut off. No, it is. I hate that. Hold on. Now I want to close it. There we go. My YouTube is Stephanie_please. Yeah, you're screwed. Okay, so it looks like we have no more questions. Remember, everyone, that community colleges are great places to take classes that are low damage, because I took an extension course that did not require me to do any homework. There were no quizzes, there were no grades, and that is how I made about $1,000 just with my money. Just like money made money for me in the last year, and it's part of how I could afford to do this. So yeah, I did community college for the first 2 years. Don't regret it at all. It's great. It was the most important class I think I'll have taken in my life. Hell yeah. Okay. If I didn't know about finances at 35, I'd be fucked. You know what? It is never too late to learn more. And 35, there's lots of people who don't understand finances still at 35. So it's okay. If you're at whatever age you're at, there's always something new to learn. And so I don't want anybody to be like anxious or feel shut out of the conversation because they should already know these things. Because if I hadn't taken that community college course, no one else in my life was going to teach me this. I had no opportunity in the people I knew to learn these things, to even learn the things that I didn't know. And so that's where conversations like this become really useful to have with your friends and your family and to keep them going, because like, shit, I would not have learned this stuff if I hadn't gone out and really made an effort to learn it.